One of the big issues that I experience with a lot of my women clients is I see them dismissing their own feelings. They downplay their feelings, they make their feelings not important, they judge their feelings as wrong or as bad in some kind of way. And of course, part of my work is to help women shift this. Help women shift to learn that on the deepest level, not just consciously, but on the deepest level, that their feelings are extremely important and extremely valuable. And almost always, but not always, pointing towards an important truth, a truth that needs to be expressed. It needs to be expressed in the right way, in a feminine way, using feminine communication, if a woman wants to inspire a man into taking care of her. But it does need to be expressed. And a man does need to receive that feedback through her feelings so that he can see himself, see his behavior more clearly, and often self-correct, shift himself, shift his leadership to be able to give the woman more of what she needs. But as long as a woman is looking at her feelings as a bad thing, as a burden, as something that's wrong, bad, not important, a problem in some kind of way, instead of a gift for herself and her man, then she's almost certainly going to be suppressing those feelings or avoiding sharing those feelings in some way, which is going to cause huge problems in her love life, dating life, or relationship life, because a man is going to lose respect for her. She's going to attract the wrong kind of men too, if that's the way that she has a relationship with her feelings. And she's not going to be able to inspire a man into giving her what she needs. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde, and I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using feminine communication and feminine energy. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure that it is a good one for you. So, what is going on with women sharing their feelings? I'm going to tell you something before I start. It just popped into my mind. So my daughter, she is a little over 2.5 now, maybe 20, almost 30 months, I think. And one of the things that I have been training her to do is to be aware of what her feelings are and to share her feelings. We're still working on the wide spectrum of her feelings, but the two really big ones that she's quite clear on is when she is happy or when she is sad. And it's really cute because she probably tells us, my wife and I, upwards of 20 times a day at this point when she's feeling sad. And it'll last a little bit. Sometimes she'll have a little bit of a temper tantrum. Sometimes she just needs something. Sometimes she needs to cry, whatever. And then inevitably, 10 seconds later, a minute later, 30 seconds later, she'll say, "Oh, happy now," or "my happy." It is adorable. It is really adorable. But the reason that I bring up this example is because it's so natural for her. Obviously, I helped kind of prod her along as she was younger. Like whenever I noticed that she's sad, I'm like, "Hey, you sad?" I'd validate that sadness, let her know it's okay, ask her if there's anything that she needs. And I think she kind of figured out the happy part on her own. I didn't really talk about that. I was more focused on the sad. But it was so natural for her. It's so natural for her to just share without hiding in any kind of way. And it's beautiful because it allows my wife and I, her language is still somewhat primitive, right? She's learning to speak in full sentences. It allows us to understand kind of where she's coming from without throwing a temper tantrum or without breaking into tears. She does do that sometimes as well. But the more that she's able to just communicate her feelings and communicate them earlier and catch herself in the moment, the more that she can just share when she's not feeling great, when she's feeling sad, or when she's feeling whatever. And what happens to most women as little girls is that they are taught basically the opposite of that. Like my wife and I are very validating of our daughter's feelings. For many, many women out there, unfortunately, as little girls, what they are taught is that their feelings are not okay. They're taught that their feelings are a problem. They're taught that their feelings are a burden. They are taught that there is something wrong with their feelings. Now, this doesn't need to be, and typically is not, a formal lesson that the parent is teaching. Like, hey, you know what, sweetheart, your feelings are not okay, and I don't care about your feelings. Your feelings don't matter to me, and they are wrong, and you need to change your feelings. You need to just be happy all the time. Typically, not very much of that is being said. Some of that might be said, But it's more about the energy that the parent is using. It's more about the approach, the intention. And so what typically happens is the child is unhappy about something. They communicate it in a probably less than mature way because they're a little child, right? They're a baby or a toddler. And they haven't been guided to communicate their needs and their feelings vulnerably and responsibly. And so the parent doesn't like that because that causes some irritation, right? Like if a child throws a fit, for example, nobody enjoys that, right? I don't enjoy that when my daughter does that. But then that triggers the parent. They get upset. The child then feels that irritation. And then the message that they are receiving is, there is something wrong with my feelings. My feelings are not okay. If I continue to feel this or if I continue to share this, then I might be abandoned, or my needs are not going to be met, or daddy or mommy is going to continue to be angry at me. And what a parent should be doing, of course, is when they feel that irritation, well, you deal with that yourself, right? That's you, that's your own wounding stuff that's coming up, and then guide the child into communicating in a really healthy way. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. I mean, it's fortunate for my business because it means I have ample number of clients to choose from that come and want to work with me to get help reversing this damage that was caused in childhood, this lifetime of damage that not only occurs in childhood, but then also carries on after childhood. Because, of course, what's going to happen? That child is going to grow up and they are going to be communicating or in that same kind of pattern with a man in a similar kind of way, right? So they're avoiding sharing their feelings. So they might avoid the feelings, or they might cover them up and share judgments instead, or a line of questioning, all kinds of control patterns, which we talk about in our academy and all my other offers. But internally, there's also stuff that's going on, right? Like, think about your inner dialogue. If this applies to you, and it does to most women to one extent or another, does your inner dialogue ever sound like, this doesn't matter, I shouldn't care this much, this isn't a big deal, I shouldn't share this because it's just going to push him away, he's not going to like it, why am I always so sensitive, I need to just buckle down, or I need to, bury this, so to speak, bury it and just move on. Now, there might be self-pity stories in there. There might also be blame stories, or all that kind of stuff. But part of the narrative is typically about judging your feelings in some kind of way and making them not matter, making them a problem. And what a woman must do, if this describes you in any kind of way, for you to get what you want in your love life, for you to get what you want in your relationship or dating life, right? If you want to attract a healthy masculine man who cherishes you, leads you, takes care of you, cares about your feelings, is you need to undo all of this programming. Now, of course, if you want my help, this is what I do in our academy program, and we make the journey much, much easier for you, much less painful, much faster. But essentially what we're doing is we're guiding you to do what everybody needs to do, whether they do the work the hard way by themselves or with support, is learning to rewire those thought patterns. Actually, it's not even that you're focusing on rewiring the thought patterns. It's all about learning to feel deeply and accept the feelings, but that does rewire the thought patterns. And so you're learning to accept all of your feelings as they come up and just be fully okay with them. Love all of your feelings. See all of your feelings as beautiful. That's part of, we'll call it step number 1. And then the other step to this is sharing them all, right? Sharing everything that comes up. Really imagine for a moment wearing your heart on your sleeve, where you never hid your feelings from a man. Doesn't matter if it's a first date, a relationship, a marriage, whatever. You are sharing all of your feelings. You're asking for help with your feelings. You're wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're energetically exposed. You're open. You're showing a man exactly how emotionally affected you are. Because on the deepest level, here's the thing, you can only do that consistently when on the deepest level, not just consciously, not just because Zach told you on this video, when you know that your feelings matter, that they're really important, and that they're really beautiful. That will mean that the fear won't be there anymore, right? But until that happens, you have to shift through that fear over and over. You have to move through that fear. You have to be courageous to move through that fear. And then, of course, afterwards, what's going to happen? Well, sometimes it's going to go well, sometimes it's not going to go well. Not every man's going to respond well. Not even a good man is going to respond well 100% of the time. Now, a lot of that, how a man responds, is dependent on how you communicate those feelings, right? If you have not learned feminine communication from me, from one of my offers anyway, whether it's my books, my masterclass, at least understanding the bare basics, if not joining our academy and taking this learning to a much deeper level. If you're not communicating in this way, your man's not going to respond well. Unless his masculine instinct is fully buried and he himself is a doormat and just tolerates a woman communicating in any kind of way, and he might not even be feeling his own irritation because you're not communicating cleanly. But if your man or your future man's instinct is online, you're going to get a bad response when you're not communicating cleanly, right? He's going to be reactive in some kind of way, right? And if he does that, what's happening? You're getting the message, again, my feelings aren't important, right? You're getting that belief reaffirmed. It's a negative belief, but it gets reaffirmed. So you need to learn how to communicate using feminine communication so that you actually get good responses, so that you actually get validation that your feelings do matter. You're not seeking it. You're not trying to get the validation. That would be approval seeking, but you are getting the validation. And over time, that breaks apart the negative belief that your feelings don't matter. And over time, you start to just realize on the deepest level, my feelings matter. And then it's so easy to share all your feelings. And then you can just fully let go. You are a feminine embodied woman. Your heart's on your sleeve. You're sharing everything beautifully, vulnerably. You don't have to control a man in any kind of way or his perceptions. And you're being cherished by that man. You're being fully taken care of by that man. This is what we help women do. All right, this is my passion. This is my purpose, and nobody does it better than I do. And I've seen a lot, right? And the reason why is because, specifically, I'm a man and my team are men, and we are leading you through this process just like a man should be doing in your relationship romantically, or future relationship, or dates, whatever. It's also what your father should have done, right? It's essentially exactly what I'm doing with my daughter, just in a less simplified way, right? Because you're a grown adult. But this helps you move through this process incredibly quickly. It brings up all this wounding for you. It also brings up all your trust issues, right? Because I am a man, you're probably going to have some trust issues with the masculine, and that's going to be reflected even with me. I'm okay. I can take those projections. I can take all of that, because my job is to help you move through that fear, move through those trust issues, and reestablish that trust in the masculine, reestablish the trust in the person that you have chosen to take care of you, right? Which essentially would be me in a platonic sense. If you're interested in getting the support, if what I'm saying resonates, I would love to talk with you about how we can help you. And the best way to learn more about whether it would even be right to speak with me is to go to thedreamrelationship.com, thedreamrelationship.com. It's all one word. And watch my video on our academy program, on our process, what we do, how we help women. And then right below that video, there is a button to book a call with me if everything resonates, if it feels like, yeah, this is what I need. This is exactly, he's speaking my language here. And if so, if you get to that point, I would absolutely love to talk to you. And we'll find out if working with me is the right next step for you. So that offer, my academy offer, as well as all of my offers, because I offer other stuff too, my books, my masterclass, dating course, all of it. If you're not ready for a really big step like the academy, it's all below this video. It's in the description. So just open that up, check out my links. Like I said, thedreamrelationship.com, that's the one for looking into the academy. Would love to speak with you. And if that's you, then I will speak to you soon. That's it for this one.